Southern California native John Kaizan Neptune has come a long way from his days as a drummer in a rock band and a self-described surfer bum to become a major figure in Japan's music world. In 1976, he and wife Diane quit the familiar life in the U.S. and made Japan their home. She was drawn by a lifelong fascination with things Japanese, he by the haunting tones of an obscure Japanese bamboo flute, the shakuhachi. One book, 2 kids, and 11 recordings later, Neptune has helped chart a new modern course for the nearly forgotten instrument. Ready to drop out of the University of Hawaii at the age of 19, he heard the sounds of the shakuhachi in an elective ethnomusicology course, and he was hooked.
Quite a crude-looking instrument, but the range of expression, the kind of sounds, is unlimited, just limited by the amount of time that you can spend with the instrument.
It was an ironic choice for a stubbornly individualistic American. Even the Japanese tend to avoid traditional instruments, due in part to the grueling training system that values conformity above just about everything else. Those who do take the challenge spend years mastering their instruments and must unquestioningly to every demand of the instructor. As a foreigner, Neptune could have to go his own way, but initially stuck with it, bowing to the often maddeningly restrictive atmosphere.
I never ran into any real heavy problems. It was only when I wanted to play music that wasn't appropriate. And for me, that seemed very sad that, you couldn't play any kind of music that you wanted to simply because it wasn't in the same style.
It took Neptune 8 years to master the shakuhachi, but since then his abilities have led him down a very original path. Bored with the limited music available for the instrument, yet with no experience as a composer, he simply began writing his own, discovering new techniques for using the shakuhachi to play a variety of music, from African to jazz. He has written most of the songs on his 11 recordings and has been commissioned to write and arrange scores for both traditional and contemporary groups. Again frustrated, this time by what he saw as poorly made shakuhachi, Neptune studied physics and acoustics and began to make his own.
I began first by moving the holes, fixing the pitch. And I found that when I moved holes or I made them slightly larger, it made certain notes play better or worse.
The process is painstaking. It involves curing a single length of bamboo for several years and then precisely crafting the piece. Through his efforts, Neptune has developed a more adaptable shakuhachi that can accompany instruments from the East and the West. He spent the last 2 years building a very un-Japanese oasis in the quiet countryside for his family, but now Neptune is ready to return to the studio with his group Tokyo Sphere and begin work on a new album. Over the course of his career, Neptune has managed to breathe new life into the shakuhachi. In doing so, he's won praise from such diverse corners as Japan's conservative Ministry of Education and American jazz critic Leonard Feather, who applauded his work toward breaking down the walls of rigid music conformity.
To call a certain piece jazz is not very appropriate. To call it Japanese music is also very inappropriate. And to call it contemporary music written by Neptune, it seems to, hit the mark.